Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that a third of your business's foot traffic just vanished overnight.
Just completely gone. Evaporated.
Right. And, not because your product got worse, not because a competitor opened up a new shop across the street.
Yeah, nothing you actually did wrong in the real world.
Exactly. But because a completely opaque algorithmic entity just decided it was mathematically safer to intercept those customers before they even reached your front door.
It's a terrifying scenario, but it's exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah, so you sent us this SEO Daily Technology Report from June 21, 2026, because, you're probably watching your organic traffic drop and you just want to know what the hell's happening to your digital footprint.
Which is why we're here.
Right. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are really tearing into this data because the fundamental architecture of the internet just changed underneath our feet.
Yeah, we're looking at a permanent structural shift here. The dust from the May 2026 core update and those massive Google I/O announcements, it's finally settled.
And the telemetry in this report is, well, it confirms what a lot of technical directors were terrified of.
Oh, absolutely. The data is clear. We aren't optimizing for human discovery anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, we are literally just feeding a predictive text engine now.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to survive this entirely new ecosystem, we have to understand the specific mechanics of, the crater left by that May update.
It's a big crater.
Massive. The report lays out this jaw-dropping statistic right on page 1. It says, Google AI overviews are now reducing organic click-through rates on top results by an average of 34.5%.
Which is just a staggering number to see in print.
Over a third of top-tier traffic just evaporated. I mean, for the last 20 years, the absolute holy grail for anyone publishing online was securing position number 1, right?
Right, that was the whole game.
But now this report explicitly states that position 1 is a depreciating asset.
It really is. The new ultimate metric isn't ranking, it's being cited in AI.
Cited in AI. Okay, so you have to look at the underlying server-level mechanics to understand why that 34.5% drop happened.
Yeah, you really have to dig into the shift from a traditional retrieval model to what they call RAG.
RAG.
Yeah, retrieval augmented generation.
Right. Okay.
So when a user queries a commercial or informational topic now, the engine isn't just serving an indexed list of URLs like it used to.
The classic 10 blue links.
Exactly, those are gone. Instead, it uses those URLs as raw training data in real time.
Wow.
Yeah, it uses them to generate a synthesized, multi-paragraph answer directly at the very top of the search page.
And with the extended AI mode they talk about in the report, it's integrating with the universal cart, right?
Yes, which means the user has zero friction. Absolutely none.
So they don't even need to click your link to buy the product or get the answer.
Oh, not at all. The transaction happens entirely within the AI's walled garden.
Which forces a complete psychological pivot for anyone creating content today.
It has to. Because if you can't get the click, you have to get the citation within that generated paragraph.
Right. But the report highlights that the old playbook, stuffing keywords, building those massive link farms.
Oh, that stuff is completely dead.
Having technically flawless on-page optimization, it's all failing to secure those citations.
Because the AI isn't looking for that. It's looking for EEAT signals.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Exactly. And those have transitioned from, soft human rater guidelines into hard algorithmic ranking signals.
Especially for YMYL topics, according to the report.
Yeah, your money or your life queries. Those trigger the absolute highest threshold of algorithmic caution.
We're talking finance, health, legal advice, structural engineering, that kind of stuff.
Right. The machine is actively filtering out domains that lack real-world, cross-platform validation in those spaces.
And this is where I have to push back a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Because reading through the report's data on brand authority, the implications feel inherently flawed to me.
How so?
Well, the report proves that AI overviews aggressively reward massive, established brands that have wide PR footprints.
Yes, they do.
Even if their specific page on a given topic is mediocre.
That's true. It happens.
Meanwhile, a highly qualified niche expert with pristine, deeply researched content gets totally ignored.
Right. I see where you're going with this.
It's like, imagine the school science fair, okay? You have this quiet, introverted, genius kid who builds a perfectly functioning cold fusion reactor in his basement.
A literal genius.
Flawless execution. But then you have the popular kid, like the high school quarterback, who built a baking soda volcano.
Right, the classic baking soda volcano.
And the judges give the blue ribbon to the quarterback simply because they recognize his name from the morning announcements.
It's frustrating, for sure.
Are we seriously saying a legacy brand with a C- article beats a brilliant niche expert just because of PR signals?
Well, you're looking at it too romantically.
Romantically, huh?
It's not about fairness, and it's certainly not about objectively grading the quote-unquote best article.
Okay, then what is it about?
It is purely about computational liability.
Liability.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is why the machines rely on EEAT in this specific exclusionary way.
Because they can't actually read, right?
Exactly. An AI model, no matter how sophisticated its neural network is in 2026, cannot intuitively verify the absolute truth of a novel claim out in the wild.
It doesn't have common sense.
None. It is, at its core, a statistical probability engine calculating the next most likely token.
Right, it's just math. It doesn't actually know what cold fusion or appendicitis actually is.
Exactly. So when the AI is tasked with generating a definitive answer for a user asking a critical YMYL question,
Like, should I liquidate my 401k to buy crypto?
or what dosage of this medication is safe for a toddler,
Oh, wow. Yeah, the stakes are huge there.
a liability of hallucination is catastrophic. Google literally cannot afford for its generative engine to synthesize an answer based on a brilliant but unknown basement blogger.
Because if that blogger is wrong, the AI takes the blame.
Exactly. Google takes the blame. So the algorithm needs a mathematical safety net.
And that safety net is consensus.
It's consensus weighted by historical brand vectors.
Okay, break that down for me.
The AI analyzes the broader digital ecosystem and calculates risk. It looks at the massive legacy brand and sees thousands of high-authority PR mentions.
Like Wikipedia entries, Wall Street Journal citations, government database links.
Right. It essentially says, I cannot mathematically prove if this specific article on interest rates is flawless, but I can prove that the Federal Reserve and Forbes trust this brand.
So it piggybacks on their trust.
Yes. Therefore, citing them reduces my hallucination liability to near zero.
Wow. So the algorithm actively sacrifices the potential brilliance of the unknown expert for the guaranteed safety of the established entity.
It has to. So EAT isn't actually about rewarding good content. It's a defensive mechanism for the AI to reduce compute cost and legal liability.
That is incredibly cynical, but it makes total sense.
Let's take that a step further, though. It fundamentally redefines PR entirely. As the report concludes in this section, PR and SEO are now structurally inseparable.
You can't just do one without the other anymore.
Exactly. You cannot optimize a website in a vacuum. If you don't have a recognizable brand footprint.
Like external high-trust nodes across the web validating you.
Right. If you don't have that, the AI will physically refuse to extract your data for its overview.
Which brings up a massive operational problem.
Let's hear it.
If I'm looking at my analytics dashboard right now, watching that 34.5% haircut in real time, I understand I need to feed the AI to become the trusted consensus.
Right. You know the goal.
But how do I systematically force a neural network to recognize my authority?
And that transitions us directly into the new optimization disciplines the report identifies.
Because traditional SEO is splitting, right? It's fracturing into these highly specialized branches.
Yeah, specifically GEO, AEO, and entity SEO.
And the capital flowing into this transition is just staggering.
Unbelievable amounts of money. The report projects the global SEO market hitting $83.98 billion this year.
83 billion, that's massive.
And almost all that new growth is localized in GEO, Generative Engine Optimization.
GEO feels like the industry is finally collectively admitting that the blue link is dead.
It really is the nail in the coffin.
We aren't optimizing for Google's traditional crawler anymore. We're optimizing explicitly for ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and Claude.
Right. And Google even published an AI optimization guide in June, basically blessing this practice. They made it official.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The report details the massive, rapid adoption of the LLMS.txt file standard.
Oh, this is huge.
I literally had to read this section twice. We are literally putting instruction manuals on our servers specifically for the bots now.
The LLMS.txt file is the most significant technical protocol shift since robots.txt.
But it's different than robots.txt, right? Because robots.txt just tells a crawler what it's not allowed to look at.
Exactly. It's a barrier.
Yeah.
But LMS.txt is an active, structured data feed.
What does that actually look like on the back end?
It's a markdown file placed in the root directory, and it provides a dense, highly factual summary of the site's core entities, original research, and verifiable claims.
Okay, let me try a mechanical analogy here to make sure I grasp how this works at the server level.
I love your analogies. Let's hear it.
Okay, relying on traditional web scraping is like handing someone a 500-page novel where all the spaces between the words have been removed.
Sounds awful.
Right, and then asking them to find the main character's birthday.
They can do it, but it's going to take forever.
Exactly. It requires immense cognitive processing power to parse all that junk.
Right.
But deploying an LMS.txt file is like handing that same person a single index card with the character's name and birth date neatly typed out.
You are drastically reducing the computer's cognitive load.
That is precisely the mechanism, then.
Yes, you are optimizing for the bot's compute budget.
Compute budget, so they don't want to waste processing power on my site.
Exactly. When GPTBot or PerplexityBot hits your domain, parsing heavy HTML, executing client-side scripts, filtering out your navigation menus, all of that costs them processing power.
It's expensive for them.
Very. But if they detect an LMS.txt file, they can bypass all the noise and instantly ingest your verified claims.
So it's like a VIP pass for the bot.
It is a direct handshake protocol. It essentially says, I know you need factual data to synthesize an answer. Here is the pristine, machine-readable payload.
Wow. But the report notes that GEO is only half the battle, right?
Right.
There's also AEO, Answer Engine Optimization, which operates on a slightly different philosophy, doesn't it?
It does. It's hyper-focused on zero-click attribution.
Zero-click, which sounds terrifying to an old-school marketer.
Oh, it's their worst nightmare. AEO is the strategic response to the frictionless environment we discussed earlier.
Give me an example of how AEO actually plays out for a user.
Okay, so if a user asks their smart speaker, what's the most durable roofing material for high wind areas?
They aren't looking at a screen.
Right. They can't click a link. ADO is the practice of structuring your content in such precise, definitive Q&A formats that the AI lifts your answer verbatim.
And then it just appends according to your brand at the end.
Exactly.
But again, you get the citation, but the user never visits your site.
You get 0 clicks.
0 cookie captures, 0 pop-up ad revenue. How do you monetize a ghost?
You monetize the compounding brand authority.
Ah, okay. Tie that back to what we were talking about before.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, AEO feeds the exact EEAT signals the system demands.
So every time the smart speaker says your name, you get stronger.
Exactly. Every time an AI search engine cites your brand as the definitive answer, it strengthens the mathematical relationship in its neural network between your entity and that specific industry expertise.
It creates a self-sustaining feedback loop.
You become the consensus.
Okay, but to become that consensus, the AI has to fundamentally understand who and what you are in the first place.
Which brings us to the most technical piece of the puzzle.
Entity SEO and schema markup.
Yes. The report documents a massive surge in JSON LD formats.
Specifically, FAQ, how-to, organization, and breadcrumbless schemas.
And the report clarifies that this isn't about getting a nice, rich snippet on a SERP page anymore.
Right, like those little star ratings we used to see.
Exactly. This is far beyond that. This is about deep extraction.
Okay, break down the mechanics of natural language processing for me so we can understand why JSON LD is so critical now.
Well, human language is incredibly ambiguous to a machine.
Give me an example.
If your blog post uses the word apple, the NLP algorithm has to analyze the surrounding semantic context to calculate if you mean the fruit, the tech company, or the record label.
That makes sense.
And that calculation takes processing power and introduces a margin of error.
And we just established that the AI absolutely hates margin of error, especially for those high-stakes YML queries.
Precisely. Schema markup, written in JSON LD, eliminates the ambiguity entirely by structuring your data as a knowledge graph.
A knowledge graph, so it's mapping relationships.
It translates unstructured text into explicit nodes and edges.
What does that look like in the code?
You are injecting hidden metadata directly into the HTML that explicitly says this specific cluster of text represents an organization entity.
Okay.
Its official name is Apple Inc. Its founder is Steve Jobs. Its stock ticker is AAPL.
You are literally spoon-feeding the AI the exact relationships it's trying to predict.
You are building a relational database for the crawler.
Wow.
When Gemini or Claude is synthesizing an overview, it favors data that is explicitly structured, because it can mathematically verify the entity relationships without guessing.
So it's the safe bet again.
Always the safe bet. The report states that passing Google's rich results test and the Schema.org validator isn't just a best practice anymore.
That's mandatory.
It is the absolute baseline for survival.
Because if your competitors are using JSON LD and you are just relying on standard HTML headers.
You are computationally invisible to the answer engine.
Invisible. Man! So understanding this architecture is one thing. I get that we need GEO, AEO, LMS.txt, and exhaustive JSON LD schemas.
Right. The theory is clear.
But if I'm managing a site with 10,000 pages, a human team cannot physically code, update, and track those entity relationships fast enough.
No, it's impossible.
The volume is completely unmanageable, which begs the question, how is the industry actually executing this at scale?
They are relying on an entirely new class of enterprise infrastructure.
The tools.
Yes. The tool landscape has evolved into highly specialized AI-driven command centers.
And the report highlights 3 massive players dominating this space. I want to dig into how they actually function, starting with the one positioned as the central nervous system.
Semrush.
Right, Semrush.
Semrush has managed to maintain its dominance by solving the biggest blind spot in this new ecosystem.
Which is what?
Tracking the untrackable.
Because their pro tier sits at, what, $119.95 a month?
Yeah, almost $120.
Yeah.
But the value is entirely locked in their 2026 Copilot and the AI Overview Tracker.
Okay, explain how that tracker actually works. Because if AI overviews are dynamically generated based on the user's specific context, their history, their location.
Right, it's different for everyone.
How can a tool reliably tell me if my brand is being cited overall?
It requires an immense distributed crawling infrastructure.
Like an army of bots.
Basically.
Yeah.
Semrush essentially deploys thousands of localized headless bot agents to constantly ping Google and other generative engines with specific C keywords.
Oh, wow.
It then uses its own generative AI, the Copilot, to parse the unstructured text of the resulting AI overviews and extract the citations.
So it's reading the AI's answers to see if you're in them.
Exactly. It maps the frequency of your brand's appearance across thousands of dynamic generations.
That's incredibly resource intensive.
Very. But if your main KPI is cited in AI, you cannot manually check this.
No, you'd be sitting there Googling yourself all day on 1,000 different VPNs.
Right. You need Semrush's Copilot to aggregate the probability of your visibility.
Which gives you the intelligence, but not the content itself.
Correct.
For the actual production of the content, the report points to Surfer SEO as the gold standard for scaling.
Surfer has really adapted well to this new era.
And I want to understand the mechanics here, because the report says Surfer uses NLP-driven real-time analysis for semantic gaps.
Right.
What is it actually calculating when I'm typing in the editor?
Surfer operates by reverse engineering the high-dimensional vector space of the top-ranking entities.
Okay, high-dimensional vector space. We need to translate that for everyone listening.
Sure. Let's say you're writing a page about commercial solar panel installation.
Okay, good example.
Modern AI doesn't look at keyword density anymore.
So it doesn't care if I say best solar panels 15 times.
It actively penalizes that now.
Yeah.
What it looks at is semantic distance.
Semantic distance.
Yes. In the AI's vast training data, the concept of solar installation is mathematically clustered your very specific technical terms.
Like what?
Like photovoltaic efficiency, inverter load, grid tie architecture, and tax abatement.
So if my article just repeats best solar panels 20 times, the AI knows I lack actual expertise.
Exactly. Because I'm missing the surrounding technical vocabulary.
Your document's vector is just too far away from the ideal answer vector.
So how does Surfer fix that?
Surfer's NLP analyzes the live search results, extracts the semantic cluster the AI currently favors for that topic, and scores your content in real time.
It basically grades you on how tightly you mirror that expert vocabulary.
And the report mentions it now integrates directly with multi-model AI writers, right?
Yes, like ChatGPT and Jasper. It provides GEO-specific recommendations to ensure that vocabulary is structured perfectly for extraction.
Wow. And then there's the third pillar of this tech triad in the report.
Ahrefs.
Right, Ahrefs. Specifically, their light plan at $99 a month. The report calls it the absolute powerhouse for raw technical data and backlink analysis.
Which is fascinating, really.
It is. Why do we still care about backlinks if we are optimizing for AI overviews? Didn't we just say blue links are dead?
We did. But you have to remember everything we established in Section 1 about EET and hallucination liability.
Ah, brand authority.
Exactly. Backlinks are the foundational math behind brand authority.
So the AI still looks at who is linking to you to decide if you're safe.
The AI engine might not process a backlink the exact same way the 2015 Google algorithm did, but it still relies on the topology of the web to determine trust.
And Ahrefs is the best at mapping that topology.
They maintain a crawled link index that updates every 15 to 30 minutes for top domains.
A 15-minute refresh rate on a global index is just staggering processing power.
It has to be that fast now.
Why?
Because if you get a citation in a major publication, or conversely, if you are hit with a massive negative PR wave.
Like a scandal.
Right. The AI engines recalculate your authority matrix almost instantly.
Wow. So you use Ahrefs' 2026 AI-assisted Site Explorer to monitor those shifts.
Yes, it acts as your real-time radar for link velocity anomalies. Use it to monitor the external validation signals that give the AI permission to trust the content you just wrote in Surfer.
So what does this all mean for the daily workflow?
It changes everything about what an SEO professional actually does.
Because I'm looking at this operational triad, Semrush, Surfer, Ahrefs, and I'm noticing a massive, almost comical irony here.
What's the irony?
We are paying an AI tool, Semrush's Copilot, to tell us what another AI tool, Google's Overview, wants to see.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Then we use an AI-driven NLP engine, Surfer, to mathematically write the exact words required.
Right.
We're essentially just financing a massive bot-to-bot conversation.
It really is just machines talking to machines at this point.
The humans are just sitting on the sidelines passing subscription money between different server farms.
This raises a really important question about the role of the human operator in 2026.
If the machines are calculating the strategy, writing the semantics, and tracking the output, what exactly are we doing?
We're the orchestrators.
The orchestrators, I like that.
We are the architects of the consensus.
Elaborate on that.
You use Semrush as your polling data
Mm-hmm.
to verify the message is landing. You use Surfer to format the machine-readable payload.
Got it.
And you use Ahrefs to manage the PR infrastructure that validates the payload.
But the manual drafting of content is over.
Completely over.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the final and perhaps most volatile section of the report.
The shift toward full production automation.
A push-button future.
The push-button future, I love that term. The report states explicitly that AI SEO platforms have matured far beyond simple wrappers.
They aren't just giving you a nice user interface for ChatGPT anymore.
No, we are looking at massive autonomous workflow engines. Let's look at AirOps, which the report highlights.
AirOps is a great example.
The report notes they lead with multimodal AI. What does that mean in practice?
It means relying on a single neural network is a strategic vulnerability now.
Why? If I love GPT-4 or whatever, why shouldn't I just use that?
Because if you generate 1,000 pages using only OpenAI's models, you bake in OpenAI's specific semantic biases.
Ah, they all write differently.
Exactly. When Claude or Gemini later crawl your site to synthesize their own answer engines, your content might not align optimally with their distinct vector spaces.
So you're optimizing for one bot and ignoring the others.
Right. AirOps solves this by deploying multi-agent consensus.
So it's using GPT, Claude, and Gemini simultaneously.
Yes, it chains them together in a workflow.
How does that actually work?
Well, it might use Gemini to pull the live's SRP data, feed that to Claude to structure the logical outline, and then use GPT to generate the JSON LD schema and the final prose.
Wow. It creates a robust, multidimensional document that appeals mathematically to a wider variety of crawling engines.
It's synthesizing its own consensus before it even hits the server.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And terrifying. And the report highlights other platforms doing this at scale too, like Writesonic.
Writesonic is huge right now.
Your professional plan is a hefty $249 a month, but the report says it dominates long-form SEO.
Because it integrates schema markup directly into the automated writing process.
Yeah. So it's building the JSON LD knowledge graph simultaneously with the text.
Exactly. You don't have to go back and add it later. And then you have platforms like Koala AI.
Right. The report mentions Koala offers an entire lifecycle workspace. Koala Writer, Koala Chat, Koala Images.
You can spin up a deeply optimized, schema-rich, 5,000-page site in a single weekend.
A whole site. In a weekend.
The volume capability is unprecedented. The report calls it a semi-automated production process.
Semi-automated, but we have to look really closely at that prefix, right?
Sit closely.
Right.
Because the report includes a massive warning klaxon in this section.
Human oversight remains the single point of failure.
It absolutely does.
I think I understand exactly why. It's the infrastructure trap.
Go ahead, give me another analogy.
Okay, let me use a mechanical one this time. Relying purely on Koala or AirOps to generate thousands of pages is like building a state-of-the-art, high-speed bullet train capable of going 300 miles an hour.
Okay, a very fast train.
But you lay down the tracks using untreated, rotting wood.
Oh, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Right. The train engine is flawless, but the infrastructure just shatters the second it tries to operate at speed.
That is a perfect analogy. The rotting wood in your scenario is client-side JavaScript rendering and poor core web vitals.
And the report flags this as the most critical technical bottleneck of the entire AI era.
It really is.
Explain the mechanics of why bots hate JavaScript so much. Because I hear this all the time from developers, but it's hard to grasp.
Sure. An AI crawler operates on a very strict time and compute budget.
We talked about the compute budget earlier.
Right. When a bot hits a purely static HTML page, the text, the LMMs.txt file, and the JSON LD schema are all immediately available in the raw source code.
So it reads it instantly and moves on.
Exactly. Fast and cheap. But many modern websites are built on heavy JavaScript framework.
Like React or Angular?
Yes. When the bot hits that server, the initial source code is basically empty.
Really? Just empty?
Mostly.
Yeah.
The bot has to download the JS files, spin up a headless browser, execute the code, render the document object model, and then try to extract the content.
Which costs exponentially more processing power.
Exactly. And often, the bot just abandons the crawl altogether.
It just gives up.
Yeah, it times out. So you could have used Writesonic to generate the most mathematically perfect NLP-optimized content on Earth, but if your server requires the bot to render heavy JavaScript to see it, you are invisible.
Wow. You just spent $249 a month for zero indexing.
Exactly. You bought the bullet train but broke the tracks.
Which perfectly explains why the final tool highlighted in the report is Screaming Frog.
The old reliable.
Right. The industry standard desktop crawler. It sits totally outside the generative AI hype cycle, but the report calls it the vital counterbalance to automation.
It is the ultimate diagnostic tool for the tracks your bullet train runs on.
How does it work in this context?
Screaming Frog simulates the exact rendering path of an engine crawler.
Okay.
It exposes exactly where your JavaScript is blocking execution, where your dynamic rendering fails, and where your JSON LD syntax is broken.
And the 2026 version added a really fascinating new feature.
The AI ROI Insights.
Yeah. The paid version, which is $290 a year, now includes AI-powered insights to automatically prioritize these technical issues by potential traffic and ROI impact.
This is the bridge between the technical plumbing and the boardroom.
Explain that. How does it change the conversation?
In this semi-automated reality, the human SEO director isn't writing meta titles anymore.
Right, the AI does that.
They are sitting at the command center reviewing the Screaming Frog log files. The crawler flags that a specific JavaScript payload on the product pages is timing out Clogbot 40% of the time.
And then the ROI feature kicks in.
Exactly. The AI insight calculates that this timeout is costing an estimated $15,000 a month in lost answer engine visibility.
So you aren't just telling the developers, hey, fix this code.
No. The human director takes that prioritized, financially quantified data and forces the engineering team to implement server-side rendering because there's money attached to it.
The human manages the friction.
Exactly. The machines generate the content, the machines evaluate the content, but only the human can clear the roadblocks between them.
That is the defining skill of a technical director in 2026. Systems integration and friction removal.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a staggering amount of ground today.
We really have.
Let's trace the full arc of what we've unpacked for your digital strategy just to bring it all together.
Sounds good.
The era of writing human-readable articles and hoping for a blue link is over. Dead
and gone.
The May 2026 update proved that AI overviews are absorbing the top of the funnel completely.
With that 34.5% drop.
Right. To survive, you have to transition from competing for clicks to engineering consensus.
Yes.
You need to deploy LMMs.txt files to guide the bots efficiently.
And then the VIP menu.
Exactly. You must wrap your entities in JSON LD schema so the AI doesn't have to spend compute power guessing what your brand actually does.
Remove all the ambiguity.
You utilize Semrush to track the untrackable citations, Surfer to mathematically map your semantic vocabulary, and AirOps to generate that content across multi-model consensuses.
It's a full pipeline.
But none of it matters if you don't use Screaming Frog to ensure your server can actually deliver the payload efficiently.
Without breaking the JavaScript tracks.
Right. It is a totally distinct, highly rigid ecosystem.
It is. And it functions flawlessly,
Yeah.
assuming you are willing to play entirely by the algorithmic rules of the machines.
But
But it raises one final lingering question for me.
okay, lay it on me.
It's a structural paradox that isn't directly answered in this technology report, but it builds naturally upon the architecture we've just spent the last hour dissecting.
What's the paradox?
Think about the logical endpoint of this entire timeline.
Okay.
If every major brand on Earth successfully adopts GEO, AEO, and multi-agent workflow automation.
Which they will, because they have the money.
Right. If the entire internet becomes a perfectly formatted, friction-free, mathematically optimized relational database built entirely for AI ingestion.
A completely sanitized web.
Exactly. What happens to human discovery?
What do you mean?
Does purely raw, unstructured, unpredictable human creativity become entirely invisible? Does it just get relegated to the dark web of uncrawled servers?
Just because it lacks the JSON LD schema to be understood by a bot?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But paradoxically, as the mainstream internet becomes this sea of optimized, predictable, robot-approved perfection, does that distinctly human imperfection become the ultimate premium commodity?
Whoa, wow.
When every answer is safely synthesized consensus, does the weird, the unoptimized, the deeply personal, and the highly opinionated become the exact thing audiences will actively bypass AI search engines entirely to find?
Wow. When everything is mathematically perfect, perfection becomes cheap.
Exactly.
And friction becomes valuable.
Precisely.
That is a brilliant thought to leave on. Seriously. As you look at your own analytics dashboard today and you start auditing your LMMs.txt files and your rendering paths, take a moment to look at the actual content you're producing.
Look closely at it.
Ask yourself, is this perfectly structured for the bot? And if it is there anything uniquely human left in it at all?
It's the question of the decade.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 2026 SEO Daily Technology Report. Keep questioning the systems, keep adapting to the math, and we will catch you next time.